With the Cloverfield Paradox now available on Netflix, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to take this time and rank and review all the Cloverfield movies. So not only will I be ranking the movies, I'll be reviewing each one shortly. And if you haven't seen all three Cloverfield movies, just a warning, I'm going to be talking spoilers and I don't want to ruin these movies for you. They're pretty interesting, so definitely go watch those before you watch the rest of this video. So let's get into it, starting with Cloverfield. This one is the original one that came out in 2008, and when I saw the trailer for this the first time, I actually thought it was a trailer for this game called Rampage turned into a movie, which they're actually making this year with The Rock. And honestly, I thought that was a better idea for the Rampage movie than what they're currently doing in this year. It's okay, it just doesn't really necessarily speak Rampage to me, because Rampage was completely different from what they're showing in this new trailer. Anyway, I thought it was a cool concept at first, but you know, over time, this movie just didn't quite work for me. I loved the mystery surrounding it when it was being made, and I always thought that Cloverfield was just a working title and they were hiding like the Rampage title from us, but no, it was actually called Cloverfield. The found footage style was done pretty well. The found footage genre really works when it's really small and intimate of a story, like Blair Witch Project. That worked because it was believable. It was a few kids out in the woods, and we found their footage because they died and we found their camera. That made sense. Then you take that concept and you put in a big monster and the destruction of New York City and you want to make it a found footage style. It doesn't quite work. And TJ Miller's voice, his character gets really annoying because he's the camera operator. He just gets really annoying. The creature design was very interesting. I thought it was a cool concept to have like the American Godzilla, like an original monster made strictly from American writers and filmmakers and stuff. I thought that was cool, but the miniature creatures were really weird. But when they bite Marlena and she like explodes, that just, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. And the ending to this movie, it's, you know, it's there. If you wait till the end of the credits, I think they say it's still alive, and it's like, oh no, what are we gonna do now? But it was all right. Overall, I gotta give Cloverfield 2008 a C+. It's just an above average monster movie. I think it would have done better had it not been a found footage style, but you know what? I appreciate the attempt at it, and it was done okay, just not believable because it's a monster. The second movie in the Cloverfield trilogy is 10 Cloverfield Lane, directed by Dan Trachtenberg. This movie was completely different. When I saw the trailers, I had no idea what it was, and then I saw the title, 10 Cloverfield Lane, I'm like, how does it fit in? And by the end of the movie, you still don't really know where it fits in, to be completely honest. But I have to say, I really enjoyed this movie. And this one I hadn't seen until just a couple weeks ago, because, you know, I heard that, you know, the next Cloverfield movie was coming out, so I'm like, I gotta watch this one. So I watched this a day or two before watching the Cloverfield Paradox, and I really like this movie. It's a psychological thriller. John Goodman is amazing. He plays this role very well. He's always like out of breath, heavy breathing. I don't know, something about the way that just he breathes, he just seems like a creep the entire time. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead was fantastic in this movie. The only other movie that I've seen her in is Scott Pilgrim, which is also a fantastic movie. I love that movie. But I just love the way this movie is shot. It's shot gorgeously. It's edited nicely. It's a bit slow, but it's tense. You know, you never know what is the truth, what the truth really is. Is John Goodman's character lying? Is he telling the truth? Is he just a little off? Is he holding her hostage? Did he kidnap her for real? What's going on? The entire time you're trying to figure this out. And the air is supposed to be toxic. And then she finally almost escapes, but this woman comes up and she's all messed up and from the toxins in the air. And so she starts believing it, but she still wants to get out because she does not like to be in there with John Goodman's character. All this stuff that happens. The acid scene, that was incredible to me. There's so many twists and turns in this movie, and it's slow. There's only like 3 main characters in this movie. So, you know, it's hard to get a really good story going, but everything in this movie leading up to the end, I thought was fantastic. The last like 10 minutes is where it just goes completely off the rails. It turns into like this Independence Day action movie with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was this like helpless girl in this cellar that's trying to get out. She toughens up and she gets out, but then all of a sudden she's like Rambo and starts killing these aliens left and right, and I didn't like it. It was too, I don't know, it was too different from what the movie was beforehand. And honestly, I think it would have been better had she gotten out and then seen the Cloverfield monster or something, or started getting sick, or, you know, something to where it just ends and you have to be like, what? Instead, they delayed that for 10 minutes and gave you a big action scene where she's taking out an alien ship, which, again, didn't work for me. It was cool, but it didn't fit the movie. And although, you know, the ending when she's driving away and they're like, we need help, you know, the aliens, we're fighting back, we're winning. Again, where does this movie line up with the first Cloverfield movie? It makes no sense whatsoever, because the first Cloverfield movie, it was one monster, giant monster, and a bunch of little ones that we know of, at least in New York City. Is that what this is? Because this movie, they're like they have technology. It's not just a big creature, they're aliens. It's like War of the Worlds. It didn't make sense to me, but overall, I really did enjoy this movie, and I give 10 Cloverfield Lane a B+. And the last movie in the Cloverfield trilogy is the Cloverfield Paradox, directed by Julius Onah. And this movie, no one saw coming. You know, we'd seen a few things on IMDb. At first it was called The God Particle, and it had like this astronaut in space. I had no idea what it was about. We got this trailer, this teaser for it during the big game, and all of a sudden they're like, it's already out. It's on Netflix right now. It was crazy. The marketing on this movie kind of sucked, but it was cool at the same time. You know, it's just, boom, here you go. Take it or leave it. And the cast in this movie is pretty good. I definitely like Chris O'Dowd's character. His arm gets chopped off at one point, and it's weird, but it's cool at the same time. Basically, the story is they're trying to find, the world is running out of energy, and they're trying to figure out how to get sustainable energy forever. You know, free energy for everyone, which is a cool concept. That'd be great, but by doing so, they cause what they call, I guess, the Cloverfield Paradox, where it's basically a different dimension, a different universe, a parallel universe. They collide and intersect, and this crew of this ship is now living in the alternate universe, and they're on the other side of the sun, the Earth is on the far side, and this new Russian lady gets stuck in their dimension. And it's really weird. The dimension starts like eating them and trying to kill them one by one. It's kind of cool. It's interesting. I could have done without the Russian girl. She made no sense to me. The reason that she was put in it is because they needed a villain. It kind of reminded me of the movie Sunshine, where it was a great movie. Everything was fantastic. And then at the end, they're like, you know, the elements aren't a big enough hurdle for the characters to get over. We need a villain, a physical person for them to fight. Let's throw one in there. I didn't like that. If she was just there, I'd be fine with it. But then she starts killing people. It was unnecessary. She didn't need to be a bad guy. I thought it would have worked perfectly had she just been a person that was trying to help them out, you know, mutually beneficial, get them back to their reality, and you stay in your reality. That's all you need to do. I did like the fact that she was like melded with the ship when they first crossed over realities. That was really cool. Again, like 10 Cloverfield Lane, the Cloverfield Paradox is shot nicely. It's very intriguing and mysterious the entire time. You're trying to figure out what's going on, and I love it. But again, those last like 10 minutes just derail the movie, and it just becomes something completely different. This one, it's not entirely different from what it was beforehand, but it was different enough to where it didn't feel right. And then when the last two characters, they're crashing back down to Earth. They escaped the station, the space station. they're coming down to Earth, and you know, they're like, no, you can't bring them back. Do you realize these things have taken over the world? And they fall through the clouds. And then you see the big Cloverfield monster roar. And it's like, that's how you're going to combine the movies? Last second, like, not even try. That's what bothers me about these movies, is they're great on their own. You don't need to crush them together, you know? They're not working together. Just leave them as their own movie. You're fine. But then when you try to force them into this franchise, this trilogy, it doesn't work. In my opinion, this was the most forced of the trilogy. How they're falling to Earth, and then you see it come above the clouds, and it looks a lot bigger, and it looks a little different, but I didn't get it. I didn't like it. And, you know, this movie, however, it's a space movie. I'm a nerd for space movies. I love it. It wasn't spacey enough for me, but I still enjoyed this movie. And I got to give the Cloverfield Paradox a B. The 10 Cloverfield Lane just barely edges it out, but this one is still fun and intriguing. But again, the villain at the end, unnecessary. The ending with the creature, just totally forced. And I feel like in the writer's room, they're like, how do we connect these movies to each other? How about we just have the monster roar at the end? Okay. It's lazy. That's how I saw it. Just super lazy. So now to rank these movies, if the grades weren't obvious enough, Cloverfield is number 3, the Cloverfield Paradox is number 2, and 10 Cloverfield Lane is number 1. I would watch all 3 of these again, because there is mystery surrounding these movies. Still, after watching them, you still want to rewatch it and catch things that you didn't quite catch. At least 10 Cloverfield Lane and the Cloverfield Paradox. The Cloverfield, it's just a monster movie, and it's really all it is. But let me know what you guys thought of these 3 movies. Have you seen them? Let me know what you thought of them in the comments below. How would you rank the 3 movies? Again, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big ol' thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can be notified when we upload new content. Also, check out our Patreon page where you can support us and get early access to videos and possibly be in a future video with yours truly. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.